All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live on another episode of the Steel City Renegades. Even though the Steelers are not playing this week, we are live here on the Redline Network. So if you guys want to join us, you can go to YouTube, join us right on Redline Network LLC, right on there. Also, Redline Radio, you can also follow us on our Steel City Renegades page. And as always, I want to welcome in my co-host, Dees, my main man, right from his Steelers room or his man cave, however you want to call that. I know he's not from Chicago because he makes that known every week. He is not from Chicago. He's about 25 minutes away from there. So Dees,
2 hours.
2 hours. So Dees, thanks for joining us today.
Good morning. Good morning.
I know it's a little early for everybody. And then our main man, Ryan Neff, our Kansas City Chiefs fan. Ryan, your prediction is looking more and more like it's going to come true with the Kansas City Chiefs. So how's everybody doing this morning? Nice, beautiful morning.
And of course, now they're for.
What's that, Ryan? We're froze. So we'll get Ryan back on. He'll jump back in here in a second. So, Dees, how's it going, man? How's things going with you?
Not bad, except for the aforementioned fucked up sleep schedule. My body took me for a ride on last night. But it's going to be a good Sunday because I get to experience the entire Sunday without having a stroke or anxiety or panic attacks. So I love the bye week.
Yes. I feel the same exact way. I mean, we had a conversation off air. Hey, Ryan Neff is with us, ladies and gentlemen. Put your hands together for him. Ryan, we're glad that you're not frozen and we can actually hear you and see you.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with my laptop, but technology has a propensity. If you're shoving a red hot poker up my ass, me and technology just don't mix. So look, early morning. I know your team doesn't play. My team plays Monday night. I'll never be able to stay up for it. So we'll see what happens. But what a wacky NFL season up to this point.
Yeah. You're not lying, Ryan. You're not lying at all. I mean, Minnesota, they must have gave Minnesota some extra money. 2 weeks in a row, they're out of the United States and playing in what they played in Ireland last week. And now they're playing in London today against the Browns.
Yeah,
man, what'd they do to them guys?
Stupid, just dumb.
Well,
dumbass move by the NFL.
How long do you think before it takes before the NFL gets an international team? How long? You say by 2030?
Well, they already have one. They play in Jacksonville. Maybe by 2030. I don't know. Unless the NFL starts the international league. I don't know what's going to happen. We'll see. I just think it's a dumb idea. It's not fair to the players. You play 1 week in Dublin, the next week in London, whatever the hell it is, Germany. It's unfair to the players with how long the season is.
Yeah,
they pretty much made it known that the goal is in the very, very near future is that there's going to be an international game every single week.
Okay, so then let me ask you this. We say about 2030 is going to be an international team. Where do you think that'll be? Will it be in London? Will it be in Mexico City? Where do you think it'll be?
I think it'll be London. That would be the most obvious answer because that's the place that we've gone to the most.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the fan response in Germany has been really, really high. They just had a really good experience in Ireland. So I think maybe the way that they're expanding on where they play might be kind of testing the markets to see how well those cities are going to do. I fully expect to see another, more Brazil, more Dublin, more Germany over the course of the next 3 or 4 years before they ultimately decide, okay, look at what, let's look at the numbers. Where are we drawing the most? What community, what city is making the most money? How does everybody benefit before they ultimately say, okay, now we've got, the Munich Monsters or whatever. But I think that's where we're headed.
Okay, so if you got them as an expansion team, what city in the United States you give an expansion team to? Who's dying to have a team?
I don't know that they're thinking expansion as much as like Ryan said. Right now, I think they have their eyes on Jacksonville, and depending on how that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, still, they're going to have to expand here pretty soon, and I would say by 2030 that you have 2 more NFL teams that are out there. I
can
would
see
say
that.
I would say London, but if you're Ryan, I'll ask you, what city do you think deserves to have an NFL team if they do that in 2030? And I mean, St. Louis has still got that brand new stadium that Kroenke built, right? He built a brand new stadium just sitting there.
I was going to say St. Louis. It makes sense. They had the Rams. They had the Cardinals. The Cardinals should have never moved to Arizona. It doesn't work.
Dome?
What's that?
You're talking about the dome that
Yeah, Kroenke built a brand new dome in St. Louis.
that's been there for quite a while.
Really? I just seen
Yeah.
something. I just seen something about it. Like, I think it was like 3 weeks ago. I was reading that stadium was built like in 2000 or 98, 99.
Yeah, that's considered fucking outdated in today's NFL.
I mean, okay, but when did the Rams move back to Los Angeles? 10 years ago?
Wow.
Roughly 10
years ago.
10 to 12, something like that.
Yeah, so I mean, they still got a stadium that's sitting there. I know they play a bunch of bowl games there. It's really not sitting, but I mean, and then I mean, I don't know, maybe who else could get a team? Maybe New Orleans already got a team. Maybe we don't need another California team.
No.
I don't know, man. I don't know. If you had to pick another state in the United States where a team or an NFL team can thrive at, where do you think it would be? Besides St. Louis.
Salt Lake City could potentially be one.
San Antonio, maybe.
Yeah, but that would be 3 Texas teams then. That I guess that's not too bad considering how big it is.
New York has 4.
Yeah.
Los Angeles has 4. Why not just throw someone in San Antonio? But I would say St. Louis. St. Louis would be on top on the list.
Yeah, the only problem with St. Louis is the support. Fucking, if they're not winning, it falls off. You know, and it that goes with just about any sport. Even the Cardinals, like, you know, they suck this year, and stadium was empty. I went to a couple of Steeler games in St. Louis, and it was super easy to get. I mean, as a Steeler fan, hey, bring on a St. Louis team. I'll at least get to see them there, you know, once every 8 years. But I don't know that St. Louis will get a second or a third chance at a team, because the city has shown that, yeah, when they're good, they'll support it, but when they're bad, they won't.
I mean, you got a point there. But all right, let's get into NFL week number 4 last week. Ryan, your Kansas City Chiefs, how'd they do?
Look, they finally put it all together. Look, Baltimore had a lot of guys hurt last week. With Lamar Jackson being out, it was a little bit easier. But look, I still need to see it consistently from them. They got a tough one this week down in Jacksonville. So we'll see. They still don't have a running game. You look at the rushing stats from last week. It wasn't spectacular by any means. Look, Andy Reid tries to use the short passing game as his running game. He did it last week. Defense played well. Defense is going to have to carry this team for a while until look, I'm happy that the offense put it together, but I still need to see something out of the running game, because Baltimore was depleted. Let's all be honest. Once Lamar Jackson went down, it was like the air got sucked out of the team completely. So
they better.
I'm actually going to pick the Chiefs.
Go ahead.
I'm actually going to pick the Chiefs to beat the Jags this week, although there's a little bit of trepidation there, just because it's in Jacksonville. But if they could put together a string of wins here to gain their confidence, maybe my prediction will be wrong. Not making the playoffs this year.
Oh, well, maybe. I heard a lot of noise out there revolving AJ Brown, the wide receiver from the Eagles, and Kansas City's and are being talked about, and so are the Steelers for AJ Brown. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, Steelers are in mix for every wide receiver, but you know, the reports are that they're not looking for another wide receiver. They're content with what they have. They're trying to win with what they got. But, every time a wide receiver comes up, Pittsburgh's name's in the mix. But Kansas City's on the top 2 list for A.J. Brown. And then the other one is the Patriots with Mike Vrabel. That's the number 1 landing spot for him. So hopefully he either goes to a team where Kansas City, where they need a wide receiver, or they find a way to get a wide receiver, whatever. But yeah, I mean, A.J. Brown trade deadline is what, week 6, week 7, right?
Think so.
He has come out and said that those little cryptic tweet thing had nothing to do with the team. Now, could be just service, but make no mistake that the Eagles have yet to put together a full game, and they're still winning. So winning solves a lot of things, and you can work on the rest. But yeah, I don't expect them to move AJ, and I don't think that that's a move that we're going to make. I don't think we're going to invest on another high dollar receiver. I think it would be more realistic that if we were to go after somebody, again, bringing up the name Chris Olave, he's kind of having a decent year and he's not going to break the bank. But the reports I'm seeing is Calvin Austin's injury is not as bad as they think, and he may only miss 1 game, if that. So I won't be at all surprised if we just stand firm unless somebody, throws us an offer that we can't refuse.
Yeah. Ryan, what was your thoughts about the Steelers Vikings game last week in Ireland? Your thoughts?
It's a gutty win, man. It's a gritty win. A W is a W. I thought they got back to running the ball a little bit more, which I saw was fantastic. And also, hey, Darnell Washington actually caught a couple of passes last week because they got him involved in the game plan. So, look, the Steelers are going to be in a lot of these games that are going to be close. And like I said, you beat the dead horse, gentlemen. When you run the football, it takes all the pressure off the quarterback, takes all the pressure off the offense. You can mix in the play action pass, which is great. But I thought the Steelers, a gutty win. DJ Metcalf had a decent game last week. Defense maybe coming around a little bit.
No, they need to play better. They need to play better.
I just thought it was a gutty win, Dave.
It is a gutty win, man. And I watched it, and I watched the highlights. You spend a lot of money on defense, and you can't stop people. I mean, I don't get it. I don't understand. You're letting them run all over you. You're letting them throw the short pass. You're letting them beat you down the field. You let Jordan Addison run wide open on the sidelines for a big touchdown, big gain. I think it was like 75 yards. Whose job is that?
81. It was a Terrell Austin came out and basically said, that's my fault. I called something that was had too many bells and whistles. Should have just been a basic coverage. And again, miscommunication. I personally, the best way I described it, and I believe I described it on this Hanging with D's Facebook page, that was 55 minutes of domination and 5 minutes of what the fuck, because it was, we let Carson Wentz kind of sling the pill all over, but they still played controlled. When it came down to it, they stopped them when they had to. They were getting off the field on 3rd down. I believe Minnesota was 4 out of 14, which is light years ahead of where we were. Take away that blown coverage for 80 yards, and it doesn't quite look as juicy as it did. We stopped the run for the most part. I think we only allowed 60 yards rushing, which, again, massive improvement over what we've been doing. The game plan that it didn't just involve Darnell Washington. It almost revolved around Darnell Washington, because even when he wasn't a part of the passing game, I tip my hat to finally making an adjustment, whether it was Arthur Smith making the insistence or I don't even want to give credit to Mike Tomlin, because he's not, in my opinion, that smart when it comes to X's and O's. Bringing in the sixth offensive lineman and putting Darnell in for 40 offensive snaps allowed that offensive line to more or less control the line of scrimmage. Well, now, it looked ugly at first with the sack being allowed right off rip. I thought, oh, fuck, here we go.
I would say D's the smart one that runs that program is number 8, Aaron Rodgers, because he probably went to them and said, we got to get big Darnell Washington out there because he talks highly of him, and he didn't get many snaps.
It could be. But the blocking schemes on the run game, it took a lot of pressure off Broderick Jones, who had a pretty solid game, all things considered, even though he might have had help next to him. Whatever it takes. I don't care if we have to trot out 6 offensive linemen. If it opens holes and buys Aaron a little extra time here and there, I am all for it until this offensive line clicks. And if it doesn't click, then I guess we play with 4 receivers the rest of the season. Let's go 6-man line, whatever it takes. And before we go any further, the play of the game, we've picked on him for the first 3 weeks because he sucked. But the savior of that game was Peyton Wilson. Peyton Wilson running down Jordan Addison, who should be still ridiculed by everybody on his team for getting chased down by a white linebacker. Him chasing him down and stopping him from scoring that touchdown won the game because it made Minnesota burn another full minute off the clock. If we give up that punt and they have 2 minutes, that's a different ball game. But because he made that stop, Minnesota had to end up burning another full minute off the clock, and ultimately that's what decided the game. So hats off to him. And the rest of the defense flying around the ball, creating turnovers, smacking the shit out of Carson Wentz. Loved it. Yeah, there are a couple of things that still need cleaned up, but compared to the body of work that we have seen these last 3 weeks, last week was a totally different team and one that you can now build off of.
Well, let's hope when they come back in next week and they play the Browns in Pittsburgh, let's hope that they go smack the taste out of the Browns' mouth and blow them out about a 35-3 or 35-6. Let's hope so.
Let's hope, but I don't know that we're going to be able to score that many points on that defense. Now, we could get a lot of turnovers depending on whether or not Dylan Gabriel survives this week or whatever, but yeah, it's real nice. Like, I hate having to buy this early, but given the current health of our team, it's coming at the right time, especially with what's going on with Baltimore. We have a legitimate shot to come out of the other end of these next couple of weeks sitting at 5-1 while Baltimore sits there at 1-5. That would be glorious.
That would be glorious. I'd like that.
Not saying it's going to happen, but like, it's literally the fruit is right there to grab.
Well, the only true starting quarterback that's left in the AFC North is Rodgers.
Yeah.
Deez, what's your thought on the Browns pulling the trigger on Flacco already?
I'm honestly surprised it took this long because he hasn't looked good. I mean, he did put together that little half-ass drive that sealed the win against the Packers, but once you can kind of tell that the team that, like, they're not going anywhere really, and you've drafted 2 quarterbacks in this year's draft in the 3rd and 5th rounds respectively. You got to find out, having a 40-whatever-year-old Joe Flacco isn't doing you any good. Now, if Flacco comes out and leads them to a 3-0 start, we're having a different conversation. But the fact that they come out laying eggs, yeah, pull the plug, see what you got with these rookies, and figure out if you're going to move forward with one of these guys, because you still got a pretty solid class coming next year. So I think they spend the next 12 games, 13 games, whatever they have left, figuring out which of the 2 guys that they have is going to be the better option, if either one of them is going to be the actual option. You have to know.
Ryan, what's your thoughts on that?
I never thought they should have started in the beginning of the season, to be quite honest with you. They're wasting a solid defense. I mean, you can't put together drives, can't run the football, you can't do diddly dick on the offensive end. Your defense is going to get tired. So let's see what the kid can do. Bo Nix did it last year. Cam Ward is struggling a little bit this year just because Tennessee's offense blows. But hey, give the kid a shot. And, the only way Shador is going to start is if Flacco and Dylan Gabriel both get hurt. But if Dylan starts to struggle, you can't go back to Flacco now. You can't do it. It just sends the wrong message to the team. They don't know what the hell. Who's going to be our quarterback this week, next week, for the future. So you need to stick with Dylan Gabriel the rest of the way.
All right. So then let me ask you this question, Ryan. If Gabriel goes in there and doesn't win another game for the rest of the season for the Browns, do you fire Stefanski before the season's over? Or do you fire him at the end of the year?
I thought they should have let him go last year.
First off, I don't think that's going to happen because there's no shot that they ride the rest of the season with Dylan Gabriel if he struggles. And unless both of them get hurt, I don't see Joe Flacco starting another game. So what we're seeing right now with them saying Dylan is 1, Flacco is 2, Shador is 3, all they're saying is that if Dylan goes down to injury, we can bring Joe in and he, is ready to go, can manage the game, get us through. If they make another change, it's not going to go back to Flacco. It's basically going to flop. It's going to be Shador, Flacco, Dylan Gabriel at the 3. Or maybe they'll just, but I think they're going to keep Flacco as the cushion between the two. They're not going to ride out the entire season with Dylan Gabriel unless he lights it up. If he struggles at all, you're going to see the flip-flop with Shador. They have to find out what they have.
All right, so then let me ask you guys this question. If neither one of them work and you got Flacco there and trade deadline, you got a quarterback like a Russell Wilson that's out there, do you make the trade for Russell Wilson and try to go get him and try to get some of your or save some of your season?
No, there is no season to save. I mean, they're sitting at 1-3, and let's say that those guys struggle by, within the next 2 weeks, you're basically saying that they're going to drop the next 2. There's nothing to save. There is no reason. There's no reason to go out and get a good quarterback, let alone Russell Wilson. Find out what you drafted. Do you have a quarterback? Do you have to make a move next year? There is zero chance that the Browns are in a win now mentality. There just isn't. The only thing I could see them maybe doing, and I'm talking about a 1 in a gazillion shot, would be here's Shador and a first for fucking Justin Herbert, or like a bona fide franchise quarterback. It's not. I just pulled it out of my ass.
Yeah.
It's not. What I'm saying is it's not going to fucking happen. Like, they are going to ride Dylan Gabriel and Shador Sanders, one or the other, throughout this season. There is no Russ ain't coming back to the North. I don't even see Cincinnati being that stupid. It's just it would make no sense. You drafted 2 rookies. You ride those horses, until their legs break and see what happens.
What about, do you think that they should have kept Kenny Pickett now that they're in this scenario with the quarterback situation?
No. I mean, you drafted those 2. Again, Kenny Pickett, he isn't going to save you. If Kenny Pickett was so goddamn good, he wouldn't have made 4 teams in 3 years. It's I didn't want Kenny from day one. I said it on, I don't even think I was on this show yet. I said it on my show. I didn't fucking want the guy. I thought we should wait till next season, which again turned out to be guys like Jaden Daniels, or not Jaden Daniels. Who was the class after Kenny?
Yeah, Jaden Daniels, CJ Stroud. Who else did you have? Bo Nix. Yeah, all them guys.
Yeah, all I knew was it wasn't Kenny wasn't the answer. I would have rather taken Malik Willis if we had to take a quarterback, take a project, because I think Malik Willis right now is better than Kenny Pickett, and I would have been okay waiting a couple years, but that's neither here nor there. But no, Cleveland, I mean, they had to get rid of Kenny. They had to get rid of, because Kenny is a potential distraction. Joe Flacco, while he is an old vet, he ain't a threat to those young boys. Both of those guys know that if they get that job and they perform well, they're set. They don't have to worry about, a young guy waiting in the wings. Just like whoever they decide on, the other guy's gone. This is a RG3 Kirk Cousins situation all over again. If one of those guys shows in the next 2 seasons that they're solid, and even if the other guys played well, if they look at a guy and say, this is who we're hitching the wagon to, they're going to ship the other one out immediately. Now, it may bite him in the ass, much like RG3 Kirk Cousins situation, but we'll see.
Right. What's your thoughts on that?
By the Browns?
Yeah.
I just think if Dylan performs well, he'll be the starter the rest of the year. Unless he gets hurt. I disagree with Dees on they're going to not ride with Dylan. You have to. You have to at this point. Flacco is having a season like Geno Smith is having. It's not very good. In fact, it sucks. Now, I'm not saying Dylan's going to perform bad. I'm not saying he's going to perform good. But you have to ride with him the rest of the year. And if you go back to the draft, guys, remember Kevin Stefanski's reaction when they drafted Shedeur Sanders. He's not his guy. He didn't want Shedeur Sanders. That was more of an organizational thing. I know they came out with all the right things saying, oh, we were just tired. It was a long draft, this, that, and that. Stefanski didn't want Shedeur Sanders there, period.
My point is if Dylan goes out there and eats 0-6, there is zero chance that they're not turning to Shedeur Sanders.
I don't think they're going to go 0-6 the next 6 games, to be honest with you.
No, I'm just saying, like, even if they're not 0-6, like if Dylan Gabriel is absolute garbage, they're going to make the switch, and it won't be back to Flacco because they will burn that fucking city down. Which I'd say no loss.
I mean, by that time, number 4 might be healthy and ready to play. Do you trot him back out on the field?
No. Why?
I'm just asking a question.
Yeah, no, there is no reason for that. Like, just Deshaun Watson's done in Cleveland. I don't see the only way I even roster Deshaun Watson is if, the other 2 guys are hurt. I just don't see it happening.
All right. So now we go to Baltimore, who's lost Lamar Jackson. Who's starting for them, Dees?
Cooper Rush.
Your thoughts on that?
I mean, he's not horrible. He ain't great. They're going to, if you're in fantasy football and you have Derrick Henry, you should be happy about this because they should absolutely hammer the ball, with Derrick Henry. Cooper Rush, he can win you games if you provide him a good defense, which right now Baltimore doesn't have, but he just has to not turn the ball over and sit there and watch Derrick Henry work. He's not Lamar Jackson. So, you're not going to see that. Can he win? Yes. Can he win these next 2 against Houston and the Rams? I don't know. Not the way Baltimore's defense is playing. Because as much as we sit here and bitch and piss and moan about our defense, Baltimore's defense came in pretty fucking hyped too. Now, granted, they're not making the kind of money our defense is, but they were supposed to be an elite defense, and they're an elite pile of shit right now who has a lot of hurt guys.
Brian, your thoughts on the Ravens starting quarterback?
Cooper's a game manager. As long as he doesn't make mistakes, you're going to see a heavy dose until Lamar Jackson gets back at Derrick Henry. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't touch the ball 30 times today. They're going to have to rely on the run game, especially the defense is going to need rest. Dees is correct. That defense right now is ass. But look, if they don't run Derrick Henry between 25 and 30 times a game, there's a problem.
Huge.
You have to at this point, being 1-3, you're behind the 8 ball. You're essentially either going to have to go 11-3 the rest of the way, or 10-4, 9-4 to go 10-7, even sniff the wild card. All Cooper has to do is not turn the ball over, let the running game take over, keep that defense off the field, and you'll be just fine. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I firmly expect Baltimore to run it and run it and run it today.
How long is Lamar out for, did they say?
Well, it's a guarantee that he's out this week because he didn't practice all week. So, they have a bye week after. So they play Houston today, and then next week they play the Rams, and then they have a bye week.
Mm-hmm.
If they put Lamar out there, let's say it's a hamstring, and you know how those things are. If they put Lamar out there next week when he's not 100%, then they deserve what they get. I don't want to put bad juju, but they would be fucking stupid if they played Lamar before they go to Chicago, or actually host Chicago on October 26th.
Mm-hmm.
If you want any chance at all, you have to let him rest because you run the risk of him being out for the stretch run. And their schedule, the back half of the season, isn't that bad. Like, they're in their hell right now with the Lions, Chiefs, Texans aren't as good as we thought they were going to be, but then the Rams, then the Bears. But so potentially coming back from that bye, Baltimore is looking at Chicago, the Dolphins, then the Vikings, who at that point might have their shit together. We don't know. Then they got the Browns, Jets, Bengals before they get into games with us and the Patriots, Packers. So they have that middle section where they can really eat up some ground. They have to rest Lamar. At the risk of going 1-5, you have to get to the bye week.
Yeah. I'm going to start off with Ryan with this one. Cincinnati's quarterback, Jake Browning, starting for the rest of the season. We know he's going to be the starting quarterback there. Ryan, what's your thoughts on that with the Bengals?
They're not going anywhere with Browning as the starter. They're in serious trouble. Like maybe they trade for Jameis Winston. Maybe they bring Russell in. I don't know. But they're not going to go anywhere, especially with the way their defense is playing right now. The defense's best friend is a good offense, put together sustained drives. The Bengals can't do it. I'm not liking what I'm seeing out of Cincinnati at all. There's no fight. There hasn't been any fight. Starting with the Vikings game, it's just looked atrocious, and it's going to get worse.
Yeah, I agree with you too, man. If Pittsburgh can ride a maybe 3-4 game winning streak, I think they got this division sewed up. But Rodgers needs to play a little bit better. They need to move the offense needs to play a little bit better. Defense got to play a lot better. I know that we've seen one game of it, D's. I know that you're high on this defense, and I mean
higher.
Okay,
yeah,
higher.
Like it ain't all. Hey, we're fixed. But getting back to Sean Elliott was huge. Like, I mean, yeah, he had the interception, he had the batted pass at the end, but just the energy that he brings to that defense, like you could see that they were playing differently. Also, we have a healthy Derek Harmon, and he is making a difference. Look how well Keanu Benton benefited by being able to focus on, like, he had 2 sacks, sack and a half, whatever. Are they going to be like immediately elite level? No, I still think they gotta work together and get the pieces back. We don't know how long Jalen Ramsey's going to be out for, but on the good news side of that is we're getting Porter back. So we're going the right direction, which is all we could ask for with how bad that we started. We got guys getting healthy, and we're trending the right way.
All right, another thing I wanted to talk about is, what do you guys think about this NFL overtime rule? I know we had the Packers and the Cowboys, as Angel would like to call it, Death Blue Star, had them tie for Monday Night Football at 40-40. Do you guys like the NFL rules for overtime? What do you think? And if you do, say why you do. If you don't, explain why you don't. What you think should be changed. Go ahead, Deez. I'll let you start with that.
To answer your first question, no. The NFL overtime rules have sucked since they started doing overtime. Always. There should not be a tie ever in any professional fucking team sporting event. Ever, ever, ever. Now, hockey, well, playoff hockey, they don't have ties, but I think ties are bullshit. Figure it out. Hockey shouldn't have ties. Hockey should go to shootouts. Just like the NFL, you literally have the model staring at you in the fucking face in the NCAA. Put the ball on the 10. Put both offenses on each side. and you can flip flop if there's outside wind conditions, whatever. You run 10 plays. You get what you get, you let the other team. And then you implement if you score a touchdown, you have to go for 2. And if, after, let's say each team runs 2 series and it's still tied, then you put both teams at the 5-yard line and you one play. There has to be a winner. Period.
Well,
end of story.
I agree with you on that. Somebody brought this up on Twitter. You talked about lining it up at the 10. Somebody said line them up at the 2 and give them one shot at a 2-point conversion.
Either, whatever. I mean, there are 100 different ways that you could do it. You could do field goal kicking to not worry about your superstars getting hurt. Just have a kickoff. Let's, make kickers great again. Line them up from 45. If they make it, line them up from 55 or 5-yard increments, whatever the case may be, against a live defense so you could block it. Something, whatever it takes to not have a fucking sister kissing incident. Like, that is just so stupid that we have ties in 2025 NFL action.
I mean, they've changed everything else but the overtime rules. Go ahead, Ryan. I'll let you elaborate on that.
I just have always been a proponent of you play an extra quarter, 15 minutes, whatever the score is at the end of the day. I don't even like the NCAA overtime rules, to be quite honest with you. You start at the 25, this, that, the other thing. It's just too much bullshit going on. I would just say play an extra 15-minute quarter, whatever the score is at the end of. Hey, look, was it way back when? It was at the 70s. I think it was early 70s when Kansas City played Miami. They didn't have the overtime rules that they did back then. It was you played until you had a winner, and I think it was 2 overtimes that I thought that it was Kansas City, Miami in the playoffs, from what I remember, and they played 2 overtimes until a winner was decided. So,
I mean,
well, in the playoffs, there is no tie. I mean, they will play until there's a winner. They've done that, but this regular season shit, like, it doesn't have to be another full hour of football. You can come up with a system where you can knock that shit out in like 10 or 15 minutes and then a couple extra commercial breaks.
I actually like the sudden death overtime myself. Let each team get the opportunity to score. First one to score wins. If you kick a field goal, the other team has to score a touchdown to win. I like it like that. That's what I like. You don't.
But what happens if they kick another field goal, or what happens if the first team scores a touchdown? Like that's how we got where we're at. It started out as, because of Kansas City and Buffalo, they won. They kicked a field goal. Oh well, we got to give the other team a chance. Well, then it was, if they score a touchdown, they win no matter what. Well, now it's if they score a touchdown, you at least get to possess the ball. Like, make up your fucking mind.
Okay, so then how about this? First team to score in overtime wins.
That was the fucking system that we had that didn't work. The whole, because people bitch, because look, now we got kickers routinely kicking 60-yard field goals. So you want to go sudden death, first score period. You kick the ball off, you complete 2 passes. Brandon Aubrey comes out and kicks a fucking 70-yarder, game's over. That was the system that we had for most of our young lives. And they're like, nope, the other team needs a chance. And now it's evolved to no matter what happens, the other team gets the ball. And we still end up with a tie. That's all, like, figure it out. There should never be a tie in the NFL, period, end of story.
If you're gonna do the NCAA thing, I don't even like where they start in the NCAA. I would start at the 50. At the 50. Team scores, great. The other team can't score, whatever. I would start them at the 50-yard line, period. I don't even like the NCAA starting at the 25-yard line. It makes it too easy. I would start, boom. You're right in the middle.
But
right in the middle.
I will say this about the NCAA's rule is it does bring a little bit of excitement because you get rapid fire shit. It's almost like shootout in hockey. Very rarely do we get to see them, but there's no more excitement and tension than having a shootout where it's like a one-on-one situation. Now, granted, you can't really do that in the NFL, but it's almost like, oh shit, they just scored a touchdown and got the 2. Boom. Now we go to the other side of the field. Let's see what you got. I do kind of like that aspect of it.
But do you want to see 6 overtimes though?
But those 6 overtimes could be quicker than if you give the ball to 50 and they methodically work their way down the field, and score a touchdown. It could literally be over quicker if you go the other way.
Here's my thing about that. Sitting here listening to you, D's, and listening to you, Ryan, about this, I like kind of the NHL overtime or the shootout. Let's have a kickoff. Both of your kickers, like you said, keep moving them back, D's. Keep 5 yards. Whoever hits the longest field goal wins the game.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that would be, it's exciting. It's less of an injury risk to your superstars. And it, kind of puts the onus on kickers. And if it makes kickers a few extra bucks, I'm all for it. Either way, look, I don't care if we have the starting quarterback's grandmas come out to the 50 and fight to the death. Whatever it takes to have a fucking winner at the end of the game.
These, you're full of it today, man.
I'm just saying. The ties are stupid.
I mean, I don't disagree with you. All right, let's get into our picks for week number 5. Ryan, you got them pulled up, or D's, you got them pulled up?
Yeah,
I got them. Yep.
All right, go ahead, D's, lead the way. First game.
All right. Well, we missed the first game, but all right, first game this morning, kicking off here, 45 minutes. The Vikings are at Cleveland via London, England.
Ryan, who you got with
taking
that?
on the Browns?
I think it'll be a close game. I still have the Vikings winning.
D's, who you got?
I agree. I think it's going to be tight, but I think Carson Wentz is going to make just a few less mistakes than Dylan Gabriel in his first start. So give me the Vikings.
I'll take the Vikings by 10.
I hope so. The Raiders traveling well, I guess they're not traveling too far. Vegas to Indy is like, what, a 2-hour flight?
Yeah, 2 hours.
The Raiders taking on the Colts. Colts coming off that tough loss. Danny Dimes.
I'll take the Colts in this one. Geno Smith ain't been playing good. I'll take the Colts.
I'll take the Colts.
I'm also going to ride with the Colts. Curious to see what Ashton Genty's going to do. He's had his breakout game, though. That could end up being a shootout. And if Geno doesn't turn the ball over, it could be a fun one to watch. But
let me ask you this, Deez. How long before you see Kenny Pickett as a starting quarterback for the Raiders?
I'm telling you what, if fucking Geno has another triple pick game, it may not be long. They're sitting at 1-3 right now. I could see them maybe riding Geno for another game or two. If they drop these next 2, it might be Kenny's time to shine, baby.
All right, next game.
New York Football Giants taking on the New Orleans Saints. And keep in mind that Jackson Dart was heavily favored to go to the Saints. And they said, no, we're going to go with the 80-year-old man that's been in college since 1942 over you in Tyler Shough, who's still not starting. So you got Spencer Rattler, who, let me remind the folks at home, is 0-10 as a starter.
How do you continue to try? Wait a minute. Who is the head coach of the Saints?
He's new this year. I don't even know his name, to be honest with you.
Shane says he's picking the Giants. I'll take
Kellen Moore.
Kellen Moore, because it was at the end of the hiring cycle, and he was basically what was left.
Shane, who do you got between the Vikings and the Browns? Real quick, throw that in there. Shane joining us from Unscripted. Thanks, Shane, for watching the show this morning. But go ahead, next game.
Next one we have. Oh yeah, I'm taking the Giants, by the way. The Dallas Cowboys taking on the New York Jets.
Listen,
I'm going with the Jets.
You think the Jets get their first win in the season?
Yeah, because these are the types of games that Dallas are supposed to win, and they always wind up fucking it up.
He does have a good point there. I got to take the Cowboys. The Cowboys can score points. And fun fact for you, in games that his opposing team has scored more than 20 points, Justin Fields is 0 for his lifetime. He's never won a game where the other team or his team allowed more than 20 points. And I can see that Dallas could score 20 points. So give me Dallas.
Ryan takes the Jets. You're taking the Cowboys. These, I don't want to pick them, but I guess I'm going to take the Cowboys.
Yeah, I don't ever want to pick them, but
Yeah, I don't want to pick them either.
Here's another fun fact for you. The quarterbacks that started for the Pittsburgh Steelers last year are a combined 0-6 on the season.
Wow. Shane says Cowgirls D is awful, though.
It is, but every aspect of the Jets is awful, so there's that.
Shane, who you got? Are you taking the Jets, I would assume, with that comment? Next game.
Probably the game of the week at noon, taking place in the city of brotherly love, the Denver Broncos, taking on the Philadelphia Eagles, who may or may not be suffering from some inside turmoil right now.
The Shane says he's taking a Jet. Who's suffering from some inside turmoil?
The Eagles.
Oh, okay.
Hosting the Broncos. Eagles are 3.5-point favorites.
I like to take the Broncos in this situation, but I think the Eagles will do just enough.
I'm
gonna go with the upset. I'm gonna take the Broncos.
I'm not gonna steal your thunder like you tried to steal my Giants thunder last week. So I'm gonna go with the Eagles. I think it'll be a close game. I think it's going to be a close game. I think the Eagles are still going to struggle offensively because Denver's defense is that good. But I also think that Eagles defense will kind of make Bo Nix question his life choices. So I'm going to go with the Eagles.
So Shane says Bo Nix, baby. So that means he's taking the Broncos.
If he's Bo Nix, they have a shot. If he's Mo Picks, they're fucked.
Shane with the comment of the morning so far, the cornfields of Chicago.
Yeah, you can fucking get it too, Shane. Miami. Now, okay, this is a game I want to watch several times. The Miami Dolphins taking on the Carolina Panthers.
Oh. Ryan, go ahead and lead off with this.
I am going to go with the Dolphins in a close one.
You know who's losing with this game? Every NFL fan in the world.
Maybe it'll end in a tie.
Wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, I don't even know. I'm gonna go with the Dolphins. I think Carolina is that bad. The Dolphins are bad, but at least they're coming off of a little bit of a momentum from a win. So I'm gonna take Miami.
Listen, the only reason why I'm gonna take Miami is because my girl likes Dolphins. So I'm gonna take the Dolphins. That's the only reason.
All right, then we got a game that means a lot to two of us. The Houston Texans travel to Baltimore to take on the Lamarless Ravens. Go ahead, Dave.
I want to see Houston win this. They got to get back on track. I mean, what are they? They're 1-3 right now, right?
Just like the Ravens, yes.
Yeah, they got to get back on track. They got to get back on track.
I went back. I think I picked the Texans earlier in the week, but for some odd reason now, Baltimore at home, heavy dose. CJ, heavy dose of Derrick Henry. For some odd reason, I just have a gut feeling the Ravens are going to win.
Houston 0-2 on the road, but they are 1.5-point favorites. Surprisingly, man. They have talent in on offense. If CJ can stay upright, if his offensive line can just keep him upright against a struggling Ravens secondary, that they can win this. And I'm probably going a little too much with my hope and heart, but I'm going to take Houston to win this. Moving into the 3 o'clock games, 4 o'clock for you East Coast fucks.
Shane says CJ and F the Ratbirds.
Yep. Amen to that, brother. Moving into the afternoon slate, we have the Tennessee Titans taking on the Arizona Cardinals.
Cardinals.
In Arizona. Yeah.
Cardinals.
Yeah. Tennessee is in fucking shambles right now. Tampa Bay Bucks taking on the Seattle Seahawks. Battle of the 3-1s.
I'll take
I'll go Seahawks just because I don't think Evans or Bucky Irving are going to play.
Bucky is definitely out. Evans, I believe, is also definitely out. Baker is also a little banged up, and Seattle still has a pretty tough home crowd. So yeah, I'm gonna go Seattle here as well.
Shane says Cards. Gene says good morning. Shane also says Baker.
Good morning.
Baker, the touchdown maker. In the comic relief game of the day, we have the Detroit Lions traveling to the jungle, which isn't much of a jungle. It's more like a stray cat farm. Let's take on the Bengals. I think Detroit puts 50 on the board.
They should blow them out.
Yeah, this should be a blowout. I'm taking the Lions. Lions all day.
Yeah.
Cincinnati wins. There's a problem.
Huge problem. Yeah, I won't be surprised at 50, but I would put money that the Lions score at least 35-40.
Yeah.
It could get ugly, and I hope it does.
It will.
Washington Commanders taking on the LA Chargers. Chargers 2.5-point favorites.
Ryan, go ahead and start with that one while I think here for a second.
I know the Commanders get Daniels back, but I've got to take the Chargers at home. They'll get back to what they're doing. Well, they're going to run football, play solid D. Herbert's got to cut down on the turnovers. I'm taking the Chargers at home.
I'll take the Chargers too.
Chargers offensive line is in disarray right now. I think they got 2 starters out, including their stud Joe Alt. I'm going to go with the upset here and say that Jaden Daniels lifts them up, and knocks the Chargers down a peg. Taking the Commanders. Sunday night football, we have
Eric Crosby says Chargers.
The New England Patriots taking on the Buffalo Bills in Orchard Park.
Yep. Look, Bills defense stinks. The Patriots don't have the horses, though. I'm going to closer than what the experts think, but I think the Bills will pull out a close one just because their defense is in disarray right now.
Defense wins games. Offense wins games. Josh Allen puts up a huge game today or Monday, or what's that? That's the Sunday night game, right?
Tonight.
Yeah. So Josh Allen's going to put up some big numbers. I need him to put up big numbers again this week for my fantasy. He's my quarterback.
Yeah, I'm not impressed with either one of the defenses. I think that New England just they can't keep up with the amount of points that Buffalo can put on the board. So I'm going to take the Patriot or the Bills here. Moving on, Monday Night Football in Jacksonville. We have our very own Ryan Neff's Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Jags.
For the first time this year, I'm going to take Kansas City to win the game. Kansas City my favorite by 3.5.
You said earlier that you were taking the Jags. You changed your mind.
I went back and forth and back and forth. It was with great trepidation, and I'm going to pick the Chiefs to win.
Go ahead, Dave.
I mean, listen. I think the Chiefs should win this game, but I'm going to go with the upset. I'm going to take the Liam Cohen and the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hey, you keep his fucking name out of your mouth.
Ooh.
You didn't see that? The fight that almost happened between Liam Cohen and Robert Saleh?
No, what happened?
I don't know
Yeah.
what started it, but at the end of the game, they had to be restrained from each other. And one of the things that Liam Cohen said to Robert Saleh was, "Keep my fucking name out of your mouth."
Wow.
Yeah.
I did not see that. But yeah, give me Liam Cohen and the Jacksonville Jaguars.
All right, look, this game comes down to one thing and one thing only. When the biggest megastar in the world, billionaire, writes an entire song about Travis Kelce's cock, then you have to ride that momentum. No pun intended. Kansas City Chiefs, and I expect Kelce, now that the word is out that there is a tribute song to his penis, I expect him to have a really
Is that true?
Oh, 100%. Look up the lyrics. She is 1,000% talking about how magical his schlong is.
Geez, how did you find that song? Did somebody tell you
Yeah,
about it?
I know somebody I'm very close with that is a huge Taylor fan. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I didn't believe it either, but then I read the lyrics. I'm like, holy shit. Yes.
Maybe that's why he dropped the ball against the Eagles.
Well, apparently he's dropping a lot when he's hanging out with Taylor. So yeah.
With having 3 arms, you should never drop anything.
Right. He should be the fastest man on the field. Good old tripod out there.
All right, them are the games for the week.
That is it, sir.
Your team from the cornfields of Chicago is not playing this week. They got a bye week with the Steelers.
Yeah, it's Bears, Packers, us, and who? There's an oddball team that's got a bye as well. Oh, I'm looking at it right here, you fucking idiot. The Falcons are also on a bye.
All right, man. Well, you guys have a good week. Hopefully, we might have a show next week. I may 10% chance, 20% chance. I may be in Pittsburgh for the Brown Steelers game. I'll keep you guys updated. It is my birthday weekend, so if you guys want to send me a little bit of money to help me get to Pittsburgh, I won't turn you down. But no, we'll probably be here, but I'll let you guys know midweek or whatever. So for D's, co-host Ryan Neff, and for me, we'll see you guys. Enjoy week number 5 NFL right here from the Steel City Renegades. Have a good one, everyone.